This is a little bit of a different setup, but I have a reason. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this one, I think that I have curated the ultimate essentials list for what you need to build, wrench, work on, tinker with, all of your RC stuff. The trick for what I'm about to suggest to you guys, the list of items, is that these are things that I have kind of reduced or honed in over the past 4 or 5 years of my RC career. The trick for me personally, and there may be some out there that are a little bit different, but I like a setup that is very minimal and I can take everything that I need from one location to another. So of course there are gonna be some really cool ultimate RC bench wrench area setups. This is not one of them, but I think that everything on this list is very useful. So links down below to the things that I can find links for, and for the rest, I'll just suggest an alternative if it's necessary. So like I just mentioned, the key to this setup is that I can take it from this bench station here or all the way to the racetrack. So if you're traveling around, flying to races and stuff like that, this is the video for you. I have to start with today's sponsor for the video, which is FlexiSpot. Let me run you through the list of why I like this FlexiSpot Kana Pro bamboo standing desk. The number one reason why I like this desk, there are a lot of reasons why I think it's awesome, is that it has the adjustable height. It has the electronic motor so it can go up and down. Me becoming an old man, when I sit constantly, the back of my neck really starts to bother me. And sometimes I can go into an entire race weekend and I feel like I've already destroyed my neck before I even started the weekend. So having this and being able to go up and stand and alleviate some of that bad posture really helps me out when it comes to the overall feeling that I can have while wrenching on my vehicles. On top of that, this thing is top-notch materials. It has a very nice bamboo top, which is super durable for all of the things that we are going to put it through. It does come in a box and then the top is separate and you have to assemble it. The instructions were super clear, super easy. It would probably take you less than 30-45 minutes to put this whole thing together. The frame and legs are made out of some very nice solid steel, I'm assuming, but the table has some nice weight to it. It's definitely not going anywhere when you're going to be sitting on here and doing your wrenching needs. They offer this in a couple different sizes and colors, and the tabletops come in, I believe, 2 different shapes. I'll go ahead and put a link down below for you guys to check it out in case you are looking for one of these standing desk options for a personal home RC workstation. So thanks again to the folks at FlexiSpot for building the foundation of today's video. Now let's move on to the rest of the stuff that you guys definitely need. Okay, so the key to today's video is that everything, aside from the table, is going to be totally mobile. I kind of like to be able to use anything that I build my cars with, I can take it to the track. So I've kind of honed in on a lot of select pieces that I think are essential for you guys to wrench and tinker on your stuff. So I like to start with the heart and soul of this whole operation, in my opinion, and that is this little light. Now this particular light, I've had it for at least 4 years, so I'm gonna link down below one that does all the things that mine does, but I'm gonna tell you what I like about this one and what you guys should hopefully find in a light for your setup, is that it has a wireless base station. This is great because then I can keep my cell phone charged up during the day if it has the wireless charge option. It does have a USB out, so if I need to plug something into it, I have an extra USB port, so I hope that the one that I link down below has something like that as well. You can change the color temperatures and the brightness of this bad boy, so you can get it exactly how you want your pit space to look. This is something that I see a lot of people at races when they're new, or if they're like me and I forget it from time to time and I almost have a panic attack, is a pit mat. This thing is so crucial to have a nice, comfortable, protected work area rather than just a bare table surface. Most of these pit mats are just glorified yoga mats. This particular one I like because it seems to be like an extra type heavy duty yoga mat. It's a little bit thicker than most of the pit mats you see out there. So if you're able to travel with this thing and you have the space or the extra weight to use, definitely grab one of these guys. I'll try and find it online, this particular brand that I have, but I can't say enough about this one because it just feels like a nice, heavy duty, thick pit mat. On top of this pit mat, I will always have a setup board. I'm very much like an organized type person, so I like it when I can be able to have a designated area right in the middle that I know is going to be where I'm doing most of my work. And then my tools and cars and everything is kind of off to the sides, and I just have a nice blocked off zone. If you don't need to use it, obviously just push it to the side, but this is going to be a great way to keep your car set up when it comes to your tow and camber and all that stuff. We're not going to go into the details of how to do that in this video, but it is something that you will do consistently on race day and as you're building and tinkering on things at home. So definitely get a setup board. Now, obviously you're going to need some tools to wrench on your vehicle. This is where I think that it's easy to get a lot of tools and kind of crowd your pit box or your pit space. So I like to keep it to just the essentials. So let me show you the ones that I have been using for the past few years. I'm gonna give you guys two options in case I have some budget shoppers out there. I was one of them at one point in time. This Amazon set of tools is super cheap. I can't say that the quality, fit, and finish of this tool set is comparable to some of the more expensive sets out there, but what I can say about it is that it gets the job done. I have used it now for several years. The tips are still in reasonably good shape. I think a couple of them are starting to get a little bit too sloppy, but for the price point, you really can't beat the amount of use that I got out of it. If you're looking for something more expensive, I know there's a ton of different options out there, but my number one suggestion would be the tools from MIP. The tolerances of the tips, the fit and finish of the materials, the way it grips in your hand, it really is one of the best tool sets out there. Now, depending on your vehicle, you might need different sizes, shapes, etc. I'll go ahead and link down below the most used tool sizes that you will need. And then if you find that you need stuff on top of these, you can grab what you need in the future. But if you're just getting started, these are most likely the tool sizes that you're going to need on most of the vehicles out there today. To piggyback off of the tools, there's a couple others that you're probably going to need for most of the things you're going to wrench on. Although this is not necessary, an electric screwdriver, I'm gonna say that it is going to make your life so much easier. So when you go back to trying to use just a normal hex tip, you'll almost not want to work on your vehicles because of the amount of effort it requires to do by hand. Whereas if you can use one of these to drive your screws in and out, it can make building a kit or wrenching on a kit a breeze. There's a lot of different options out there. Of course, I have this super dialed exclusive Japan only black Makita version. You don't need this particular one, but I went ahead and linked down below this one and another one that would be just as good and readily available here in the States. To make these work, you are gonna need some speed tips. Again, I will go ahead and recommend the MIP speed tips because the quality and the material, fit and finish of these speed tips, second to none. Link down below to the set that I suggest you get along with this electric screw gun. Keeping it simple, I'm gonna say that you're gonna probably wanna have a pair of needle nose pliers. You never know what you're gonna need them for, but they come in handy way more often than I would think. So I always have a pair of those in my box. Whether you're cutting out an old set of foams, trimming up a body, cutting a wing, cutting some stickers or anything else, double-sided tape, a pair of curved Lexan scissors is an absolute must in everybody's pit box. Probably the last tool that I'm going to suggest to everybody is a good old-fashioned X-Acto knife. This is something that you'll use to pick out dirt, cut wire, shield wire, do all kinds of random things with it, and it seems to be useful on just about every time I'm wrenching on my vehicles or I go to the track. So not very expensive, tons of different options out there. colors probably, so pick the one that you think is best for you. I went ahead and linked the one that I have down below. Now, the other foundational item that you're probably going to need on your pit table is a charge station of some kind. Now, there's a lot of different options out there and a lot of different needs based on the type of vehicles that you're racing. I particularly have an iCharger 406 Duo paired with the power supply that would be required to use a charger like this. The reason why this power supply charger combo comes in handy for me and most racers is that from time to time, you'll find other things that you're going to need a power supply for in order to use. Most commonly for myself is that I use my soldering iron out of this power supply. So it kind of doubles in purpose in that respect. Again, you don't necessarily need this particular charger. It's kind of on the higher end of chargers when it comes to the price point and the things that it can do. It's not necessary, but it is incredibly nice. It gives you a lot of information about your batteries. I'm not gonna go into a super lengthy, detailed explanation as to the things that it does and why I like it, but I am telling you that that is the charger that I have. You might have 2S batteries, 1S, 4S, or some other type of battery. And this one can charge lots of different types of batteries. Nickel metal, LiPo, Life, and on and on. I'm sure the list is bigger than I remember. You can charge from under an amp all the way up to 30 plus amps. My recommendation to you, if you're shopping for a charger, would be to find one that will charge the batteries that you're going to use, and it can do it in a timely manner. Sometimes the cheaper chargers, they don't charge at a high enough amp rate, and if you aren't ready for your race, you can find yourself kind of in a hard spot because your battery won't be charged fast enough. It's something you may run into as an issue on club race days. So my suggestion, if you're not gonna buy that one, and you're shopping around others that are a little bit cheaper, find one that can charge at least up to 10 amps, at least. So that way, if you need to turn around and have your car charged up in under an hour or 45 minutes, whatever the scenario is, you might be in a better spot. The power supply that I have for this particular charger, again, I'll link it down below. I don't know if you're going to need that for the charger you're looking for. Some chargers you can plug directly into a wall 110 style outlet. This charger you cannot, hence the power supply. Kind of stepping into the direction of electronic gadgets is going to be my TS100 soldering iron. There's a lot of different rebranded versions of this. The TS100 is a pretty common soldering iron that you're gonna see all throughout the RC industry. It doesn't bulk up my pit bag or take up a bunch of weight when I'm flying, so it is a perfect option to use here and travel. So whether you're soldering up some new plugs for your batteries or soldering a motor to your ESC, whatever the scenario is, it can definitely get it done. Next item, definitely not necessary, but I think it's nice to have in case you need to just kind of set the tone, set the vibe in your pit space, is a nice wireless speaker. It's something that I always bring with me. I never know if I'm gonna need it for whatever race day or club day adventure I'm going to find, but it doesn't take up too much space and it's definitely just a nice option to have. Your buddies might want you to throw on some tunes and you can kind of lift the spirits of everybody around you. Your call on whether you need one or not, but link down below to this mini rig thing that I've been using for a few years. I think it's great. Last thing I think I'll say that you need is a decent car stand. I like the ones that have the holes in them because then it doubles as a shock stand when I'm rebuilding my stuff. So I usually have a couple of these so I can leave my car on one, have another one, build my shocks if I need to. Super cheap, lightweight. If I destroy it, no big deal, just get another one. I know there are a lot of fancy like aluminum stands and kind of like crazy intricate stuff, but the way that I think about those is that if I fly with them, they take up a little bit more weight and it's something else that might break in my bag when I land and open it up and I hope that nothing is broken. The foam stands, it's kind of impossible to break them and they don't weigh hardly anything. So super useful at home and when traveling. I'd recommend that you pick up the one that I have linked down below. Last item I'm going to suggest isn't necessarily being used when you're on the workbench and doing your tinkering. here or at the track. But when it comes to getting between these 2 points, you kind of need a place to put all your stuff so that you can take it to where you need it to be. I've used a couple cheaper bags that I found at like Walmart or Target that were a sports roller style bag, and they didn't last very long. I have gone through about 3 of those because I was just too cheap to buy one of these Ogio 9800 rig bags. And when you finally do break down and get one of these Ogio bags, you understand, oh, these things are super durable. They fit everything perfectly. I see why everybody at the track has one of these. So if you have a little bit of a sticker shock from the price tag, I totally understand. But just know that it's one of those things that if you're gonna be doing this RC thing for at least a few years and you're traveling from home to the track or in an airplane, they really get the job done better than anything else that I've tried. So not necessary for the work area itself, but when it comes to turning this thing into a mobile workstation and bagging it all up and going to the track, these things are an absolute must-have. So there you have it. That's kind of like the essentials, the foundational items when it comes to your workstation, whether at home or at the track, and I hope that you guys found it useful. If you guys have any absolute must-have essential items that you love and been using for years that you travel with, drop it down in a comment below. I'd love to see what you guys are using. I'm always curious to see things what will make my life easier when it comes to wrenching on my RC stuff. So like I said, all the links are down below for you guys. If you're looking to grab any of these items, hopefully that'll be useful for you. Again, want to say thank you to FlexiSpot and the folks that got this workstation set up for me. This thing is sick. I can't wait to wrench on this thing. And I have to give a huge shout out to everyone over on my Patreon. Thanks you guys for being patient. I know I haven't been putting out a ton of content. You guys are the best. Everybody up on the screen, you guys are top notch. Thank you so much for your continued support. And of course, I have to give a huge shout out to all of my top tier supporters. Make sure I don't miss any of you guys. Brandon Moore, Morrison Watt, Jason Sinclair, Brandon Helton, Robert Black, and Tim Jeskowitz. Thank you guys. I really appreciate your support. If you guys are looking to support the channel, love the things we do here, that Patreon is also down in that description below. But that is everything that I have for you guys today. I hope everybody is having a great start to their year, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.